Have you ever noticed how the more you understand people, the harder it is to connect with them? Like, you can read the room perfectly. You know exactly why someone's being fake. You see through the small talk, the performative posts, the shallow friendships, and somehow that makes you feel more alone than ever. If that's you, this won't be a comfortable watch. But stick with me, because what I'm about to share might explain why you feel so disconnected lately. Here's the thing nobody talks about. The smarter you become about human behavior, the lonelier you may feel. And I'm not talking about book smart or IQ. I'm talking about emotional intelligence, the ability to read between the lines, to see what people aren't saying. You start noticing patterns. How your friend only texts when they need something. How that coworker's enthusiasm is just politicking for a promotion. How people bond over complaining but never actually change anything. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You're sitting in a group conversation and everyone's laughing, but you're watching the performance. You see who's trying too hard, who's uncomfortable, who's pretending, and suddenly you're not part of the moment anymore. You're outside of it, analyzing it. That's the curse, man. Understanding people doesn't bring you closer to them. It pushes you further away. So why does this happen? Because most human connection is built on not seeing too deeply. Think about it. Small talk works because nobody is digging for the truth. Friendships survive because people don't call out every inconsistency. Relationships last because we ignore certain red flags. We bond over comfortable lies. I'm fine. We should hang out sometime. I'm so busy lately. Everyone knows these are half-truths, but we accept them because they keep things smooth. But when you start understanding people on a deeper level, you can't play that game anymore. You see the masks, and you can't pretend they're real faces. The philosopher Alan Watts talked about this. He said most people live on the surface of life, like they're eating the menu instead of the meal. They're so caught up in appearances, in what things look like, that they never taste what's actually real. And when you're someone who wants the real meal, who craves actual depth, you realize most people are still staring at the menu. And that gap? That's where the loneliness lives. Here's where it gets heavy. You start pulling back. Not because you're better than anyone, but because shallow conversations feel exhausting now. You can't fake interest in drama that doesn't matter. You can't laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You can't engage with people who only talk about surface-level stuff. So you become quiet. You stop sharing as much. You show up to social events but leave early. People start calling you distant, cold, maybe even arrogant. But here's what they don't understand. You're not pulling away because you think you're above them. You're pulling away because you're tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of surface level. Tired of feeling like you're the only one who wants something real. And the worst part? You start doubting yourself. Am I overthinking? Am I the problem? Maybe I'm just too in my head. But no, man. You're not crazy. You're just operating on a different frequency now. And that frequency doesn't get a lot of reception. Now here's the trap. And this is important. When you understand people too well, you can fall into one of two holes. Hole number one. You become cynical. You start thinking everyone's fake. Every interaction is transactional. Nobody is genuine. You write people off before giving them a chance because you think you've already figured them out. Hole number two. You become a people pleaser. Because you can read emotions so well, you start managing everyone else's feelings. You become the therapist friend, the mediator, the one who adjusts your personality to make others comfortable. And you lose yourself in the process. Both of these paths lead to the same place: isolation. Because if you're cynical, you push everyone away. And if you're people-pleasing, you attract people who only want you for what you provide, not for who you are. Alan Watts warned about this, too. He said trying to control life is like trying to bite your own teeth. The more you try to force understanding onto everything, the more you suffer. The more you try to make sense of people's chaos, the more chaotic your own mind becomes. So let me be real with you about something most motivational content won't say. This loneliness? It might not go away. Not completely. Not in the way you want it to. Because once you see through the surface, you can't just forget it. You can't force yourself to care about things that feel meaningless. You can't dumb yourself down to fit in. And honestly, you shouldn't have to. But here's what you can do. You can stop expecting everyone to meet you at your level. You can stop waiting for people to get it. Because most people aren't on that journey yet. And that's okay. Their journey is not your responsibility. You're not here to wake people up. You're not here to fix anyone. You're here to live your life with as much clarity and truth as possible. And if that means you have fewer friends but deeper connections, so be it. If that means you spend more time alone but feel more at peace, that's actually a win. Because loneliness isn't the absence of people, it's the absence of a real connection. And you can be surrounded by hundreds of people and still feel completely alone. So how do you actually handle this without losing your mind? First, stop trying to make everyone understand you. Seriously, let that go. You don't need everyone to see what you see. You just need a few people who do. Quality over quantity, always. Second, find your people. And I'm not talking about finding clones of yourself. I'm talking about finding people who value depth, who ask real questions, who aren't afraid of uncomfortable conversations. They exist. They're rare, but they're out there. And they're probably feeling just as lonely as you are. Third, learn to enjoy your own company. I know that sounds cliché, but hear me out. If you can't sit with yourself without getting anxious or bored, you'll always need external validation to feel okay. But if you can be comfortable in your own mind, other people become a bonus, not a requirement. Fourth, don't let understanding turn into judgment. Just because you see through people doesn't mean you're superior. Everyone's fighting battles you know nothing about. Everyone's wearing masks because they're scared of being rejected. Have compassion, even when you see the fakeness. Here's what nobody tells you about this kind of loneliness. It's actually a superpower if you use it right. Because while everyone else is distracted by surface-level noise, you're seeing the game. You understand human nature. You know what drives people. You can navigate social dynamics without getting lost in them. That gives you freedom. Freedom to choose who you let into your life. Freedom to walk away from toxicity without guilt. Freedom to build a life that actually aligns with your values instead of chasing what everyone else is chasing. Alan Watts said something that stuck with me. He said, "You are the universe experiencing itself." Think about that. Your awareness, your ability to see deeply, isn't a curse. It's the universe waking up through you. So yeah, it might feel lonely sometimes, but it's also incredibly powerful. You're not broken. You're not weird. You're just awake in a world where most people are still sleepwalking. And that's not something to apologize for. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Understanding people will always create some distance. Because understanding requires observation. And observation pulls you out of the experience. But here's the balance. You don't have to analyze everything. You don't have to see through every moment. Sometimes, you can just let yourself be present without dissecting it. Laugh without questioning if the joke was funny. Enjoy a conversation without profiling the person. Connect without wondering if it's real. Because the goal isn't to stop understanding people. The goal is to understand them and still choose connection. To see the masks and love the person underneath anyway. To recognize the game and play it without losing yourself. That's mastery. That's freedom. If you made it this far, you're probably someone who feels this deeply. And I just want you to know, you're not alone in feeling alone. A lot of us are out here navigating the same thing. Drop a comment and tell me, do you feel lonelier the more you understand people? Or have you found a way to balance it? I read every single comment, and honestly, that's where the real conversations happen. And if this video hit home, subscribe to Focus Beast. We're building a community of people who think deeper, feel more, and refuse to live on autopilot. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.